Hi everyone, CFL Park Hopper here, and today we're going to talk about tips and tricks for planning your Disney vacation. Everything from what type of hotel to pick, how many days to come on my vacation, and when is the best time to come on my Disney vacation. So let's head on in and check out and talk about different things to plan for your Disney trip. Okay, so the first thing you need to do when planning your Disney trip is decide what time of year you are coming. And I am here inside of Hollywood Studios to show you the entrance to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, because this is going to be the most popular thing coming to Walt Disney World here in 2019. However, this area of the park is not going to open until late fall. So we're talking like November to December, which runs us into holiday season, which is already an extremely busy time of year here at Walt Disney World. And then adding this part of the park opening here, this is going to make it even busier. So if you are not very interested in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, then I suggest you plan your trip either before this opening, like up until mid-October, plan your trip, or I would plan it for into 2020, like after or around spring break and later of 2020, to give this place some time to die down. If you are a diehard Star Wars fan and want to be here for the opening, you're going to have to keep your eyes and ears peeled, because they haven't listed an exact date yet. They're just telling us a late fall, and that's why I'm telling you November to December as far as a late fall. But once we get closer, they'll give an official opening. And if you are a diehard fan and want to be here around the opening, then you'll want to plan your trip for that. Keep in mind, new lands are going to have a lot of glitches when they first open. The new rides are going to have glitches. So if you don't have the patience to wait in lines for rides that are going to possibly break down, you may not want to be here right when this park opens. You may want to wait till it's open for a few months, maybe even to a year after it's open before you actually make your trip. Let's talk about some other events in other parks that would give you a reason of when to plan your trip. Okay, we are now here at Epcot. And Epcot hosts many festivals throughout the year. It's currently right now the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. And this runs from middle of January through the end of February. And right after we finish the Festival of the Arts, we are going to head right into Flower and Garden, which will start March 6th and run all the way through May 31st. So if you come over here by Canada, you can already see that they've already put in some of the flower beds for the Flower and Garden, because we're getting here to the end of February. So these are two big festivals that go on, and probably the most popular festival happens here in the fall at Epcot, and that is the Food and Wine Festival. And that runs from the end of August all the way through mid-November. So some people like to plan their trip around these festivals, you know, so that they can come and experience them. And also in the fall, Magic Kingdom hosts Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which is a very popular event, runs from August all the way through Halloween. So fall has become a very popular time here at Walt Disney World. It used to be, you know, that September was a slow season. Not so much anymore. We don't really have slow season. We have, I would say, extremely busy season, and then busy season, and then moderately busy season, I think is what you would like to call the seasons nowadays. So some people, you know, want to plan their trip around once school is back in. Check out the water art. Oh, the alien, that's cute. And Goofy. The art festival is really neat. Lots of cool things. So, as I was saying, people want to, you know, plan their trip around when school is in, but it is still going to be somewhat busy. However, if you have school children, you know, then you want to plan your trip a lot of times when school is out. So you like to come in the summertime, or on spring break or Christmas break. Keep in mind, those are our busiest seasons, is summer, Christmas, and spring break. And summer is extremely hot and humid. So you got to kind of plan for that. It does thunderstorm every single afternoon in the summer as well. It doesn't last very long, but you do have to plan for those kind of things. So these are all things to consider as you're trying to plan when will be the best time of year for you and your family to make your trip. Okay. Another thing that people like to plan on is what hotel they're going to stay at. So that's what we're going to talk about next. And I'm going to start off by talking about hotel transportation, because there are lots of options for hotels based on where you want to stay in close proximity to certain theme parks and what kind of transportation you can take to those theme parks. Okay, so as you can see, the monorail is coming right here through Epcot, and this monorail comes from the Magic Kingdom resorts. So if you're staying at Contemporary, Grand Floridian, or Polynesian, you can take a monorail not only to Magic Kingdom, but also over here to Epcot. So a lot of people like to stay at those resorts, especially if they're going to spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom, or if they're interested in taking the monorail line. We also have other forms of transportation that we're going to look at as well. We also have an all-new form of transportation coming later this year called the Disney Skyliner. You see those ropes up above? Those are going to be a gondola system, and they're going to bring people here to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios from the resorts of the Caribbean Beach, the Pop Century, and the Art of Animation resorts. So that will be a new form of transportation, and it's supposed to open in fall of 2019. Over here's a picture, so you can see a better look at like what the ride vehicles look like. So pretty cool. There are gonna be little gondolas with different characters on them. And here's gonna be the map of where it comes from. So that'll be pretty cool. Another form of Disney transportation is boat service. As you can see this boat out here on the water. This is the Epcot resorts. So we have the Boardwalk, the Swan and Dolphin, and over here is the Yacht and Beach Club. And these resorts, you can take boat service to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. You can also walk to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. And then all of the resorts have bus transportation. So if there are certain parks that they give boat transportation to or monorail transportation, they will give buses service to the other parks. And some resort hotels only do bus service. All resort hotels as well do a complimentary bus service called the Disney Magical Express to the Orlando International Airport. So that's good to know. If you're flying in, you can get a bus directly to your Disney resort, and then you have all kinds of transportation options depending on what resort you're staying at to get to the parks while you're here. So you really don't even need to rent a car. The big thing though that I would consider besides transportation is you're going to have to look at price. These resorts right here are deluxe accommodation resorts. So they are on the top end of the price scale here. We also have moderate resorts, which are the Caribbean Beach, the Port Orleans French Quarter, and the Riverside, and the Coronado Springs. And there are also value resorts as well, like the All-Star Resorts and the Pop Century. So I would go onto the Disney World website, waltdisneyworld.com, and I would look at the different resorts. It can show you all of them, what they look like, so you can pick the accommodations that best suit your family and your needs, as well as the price. And prices are going to vary at certain times of the year. So you may want to stay at a deluxe resort like the Yacht Club or the Swan and Dolphin or the Boardwalk, and it may depend. If you can stay in the off season, you know, you're going to get a better price than if you're staying in the middle of summer or on a holiday week. So sometimes moving your trip just a couple of weeks can drastically change prices as well. So you can check all of that out. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is park tickets. Okay, so let's talk about theme park tickets. Right here is the price, and this is currently for today. They have changed the park pricing to be that it's going to change daily now. And that's going to depend on the busy time of year and the what they consider not so busy, and so on and so forth. The best value is 4 days or more, I think, for your ticket. And again, I would go on to DisneyWorld.com, and you can type in the calendar date of your first day of your trip, and then it will price it out based on that and for how many days. So you need to decide how many days you're coming to the parks, and what kind of price you want to spend. Again, 2 weeks difference can be a big difference in price depending on the time of year. So you're going to have to decide on that. And then you're going to have to decide if you want park hopper options. Some people want to do just one park a day. Other people want to do, be able to park hop to multiple parks in a day, or be able to go to the water parks and so on and so forth. So you're going to have to decide all that as well. And as we come into the park, we're going to talk about the differences in the days and why you should do one park a day versus multiple. So let's get into the park and I'll talk more about that. Okay, so let's say you're planning to come to Walt Disney World and try to do everything here. You want to ride every ride and see everything. Then the more days, the better on your trip. I think the best vacation I ever had with my family growing up was we came one time for a 9-day trip, and that was the best. We were able to relax. build in pool time, water park time, as well as go to the parks multiple times and get everything done. Now the parks are even busier and more crowded, as I said, most of the year. So it gets harder to take in everything. And sometimes you just kind of cut down those expectations and realize you may not see and do everything, but what's going to be the best for you and your family as far as your trip. And definitely ages of children matter when planning this as well. Young children are not going to be able to handle doing as much throughout the day as, you know, if you have teenage children. So you're going to have to decide on that. I would think anywhere between a 5 to 7, 8 day trip is great. You need at least 4 days if you're planning to do all 4 parks. So otherwise it does get tight, especially if you've never been here before. Now, as far as do I do 1 park a day or multiple parks a day, if this is your very first trip, I would almost consider doing 1 park a day, just to kind of cut down your confusion as you plan, make things a little bit simpler on yourself, and that kind of thing. If you've been to Disney World multiple times, like me and my family, we like to really, park hop is our best option because we've been so much and there's certain things that we like to do at each park. So it's just going to depend on that. Now, when you stay at a Disney resort, you can book fast passes. You are allowed to book 3 fast passes a day, and you can book those 60 days in advance of your trip. So you're going to want to buy those park tickets well in advance and plan ahead of time so that you'll know when you hit that 60-day marker, because you're going to be able to book fast passes for your entire trip, the length of stay, 60 days out. And rides like the Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom and rides like here at Disney's Hollywood Studios, like the Slinky Dog Dash and things over here like Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, those things fill up quickly. So you're going to want to plan 60 days out which park you're going to and all of that. And again, that's going to really depend, your flexibility of trip is going to depend on how many park days you've got, as well as did you get park hopper versus 1 park a day. I would, if I were you and wanting to book Slinky Dog Dash and the Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, I would go to the very last day of my trip and book backwards to get those. And I would start with the Animal Kingdom Pandora's Flight of Passage first, and then second Slinky Dog Dash, because if you try to book them at the front of your trip, some people already have those days booked based on when their vacation was able to start and so on. So book backwards, okay, when you're trying to do those things. And a lot of times you'll get lucky that way to get those rides. So you can book 3 rides per day at 1 park. So you may plan to do Hollywood Studios the last day of your trip. You book Slinky Dog Dash, Tower of Terror, and Rock and Roller Coaster as your 3 passes. You may plan to do Animal Kingdom as your last day. You book Flight of Passage, Kilimanjaro Safaris, and Dinosaurs. So you're getting the idea what to book. You know, I'm just going to throw out options there. But you're going to have to book rides that, you know, your family's interested in. Maybe they're not interested in high-speed thrill rides. Maybe they want more slow, relaxing rides or shows. So you're going to have to decide that too, based on your family's needs as you go. And the last thing that you need to plan on booking besides your fast passes is also dining reservations. So dining reservations can be made up to 180 days ahead of your trip. But I really find that most dining reservations are available much closer to your trip. It's only places that are super duper duper popular, maybe like eating inside Cinderella's castle, the Beast Castle called the Be Our Guest restaurant at Magic Kingdom, eating at Victoria and Albert's, at the Grand Floridian. Really special dining experiences really need to be booked 180 days out, and most can be booked less than that. So if you're going to be doing 1 park a day, I would almost wait till you can book those fast passes and the 60-day mark, and then I'd like to book my dining around those fast passes, because maybe I want to eat at a certain theme park, and that's going to be on the day that I have those theme park tickets and I'm going to use those rides. Or maybe I want to eat at certain hotels, I'm going to book that around if there's a theme park that I don't really care to eat at, and so on and so forth like that. So you just got to do your research, read, check it out, go on their website, search on the Disney World website, look at the rides, look at the food options, you know, and pick what's going to be best for your family. But I hope that these tips and tricks are helping you to get an idea of what to do to get started. So big keys: figure out what time of year you want to come, how long you want to come for, what type of resort hotel is going to be best for your family, how many theme park days are going to be best, and figure out what rides and attractions you want to book for fast passes as well as what places you want to eat. And I hope that you have a great time on your Walt Disney World trip. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe down below to see more. And thanks for watching.